So what do you need to know if you're charged with the crime of domestic violence menacing in the state of Alabama? Well, the first thing you need to know is that menacing means that you are accused of doing something whereby some sort of a physical action, you put someone in fear of serious physical injury. So for example, let's say you have a very realistic toy gun and you point that toy gun at your girlfriend. If you're intentionally trying to put her in fear of physical injury, which would be realistic, then you've committed domestic violence menacing. Now, if you point that same realistic toy gun at her boyfriend, it's not domestic violence menacing because you, assuming you don't have some sort of relationship with him, you don't have a domestic relationship. It's not domestic violence menacing. It's still menacing, but again, assuming you don't have some sort of romantic relationship on the side with him too, it's not domestic violence menacing. So menacing is about placing somebody in fear of serious physical injury. Now, menacing does not need to involve a gun. It can be committed any number of ways, limited only by the imagination. So, for example, I have a pen thing in my hand. If I say, I'm going to blow you up, that this is a detonator, well, guess what? I've committed the crime of menacing, and if I'm saying it to my girlfriend or my wife or my lover, I'm going to blow you up if you don't do what I want, I'm going to blow you up or whatever. That's menacing, and that's domestic violence menacing as long as it's within a domestic relationship. Now, let's play lawyer. And I'm referencing a real case. You tell me what you think, whether the person is guilty or not guilty of menacing. Let's pretend that your ex-girlfriend comes over your house. You've been living with her, and she comes over with her huge, hulked up new boyfriend, and she wants to get her stuff. And, he's threatened to beat your butt, and he's a big old brawny ex-Marine dude who probably could do it. Well, and she wants to bring him. In fact, she does bring him. And he's pretty menacing. No pun intended. But he comes over. So what do? You go to the cabinet, you take your shotgun, and you sit there on your bed with the shotgun. It's just sitting there beside you, have it aimed up at the ceiling. You're not pointing it at him. She gets nervous. She calls the police. You get arrested. You're taken to court. Are you guilty of menacing? Well, what do you think? A case very similar to this went to court. In matter of fact, it went all the way up to the Alabama Supreme Court. What do you think they said? Well, they said that the fellow was not guilty under very similar facts, because what they said is that somebody merely arming themselves without any further accompanying action didn't justify the charge of menacing. There has to be some sort of physical action, something that was done to intentionally place another person in fear of imminent serious physical injury. So under the facts that I've given you, the guy was there, he had the gun, but he didn't point it, he didn't say, I'm going to kill you, he didn't do anything of that, he simply armed himself. And, at least according to Alabama Supreme Court, that would not be enough to qualify for a charge of domestic violence menacing. Had he said something, had he pointed it, that would have been, but those weren't the facts that I gave you. Of course, I hope that you or anybody you love isn't charged with this crime, but if you are, and if you're in a legal jam, give us a call. We're, of course, happy to help. Our consultation is free. Phone number is below, and other contact information should be somewhere on this video. I hope you enjoy these videos and find them to be educational. If you like seeing them, there should be a subscribe button here as well. Thank you for watching.